Hey everyone, it's Hajra. I've been getting into the Inktober spirit, and last week you might have joined me for some Halloweeny, inky art journaling. This week I'm doing an early 1920s Erte study, which is more like a master's study collaboration piece, and there's even some creative adult coloring book usage. I'm going to start by doing my own variation of one of Erte's Art Deco pieces. I will change the face and hairstyle and also the earrings and embellishments on the dress as well as the color scheme. This study is more like creating a new piece in Erte's style, which is something I've done for fun with a lot of my favorite artists. It's a great way to practice and flex your art muscles. I'm using a 20/0 spotter brush for the face and arm and hands. It gives a more delicate line versus the nib of the black Zig marker itself. Just touch the damp brush to the marker tip and paint with it. Art Deco is a very minimalistic style, so it's a simple face. After that, I can switch directly to the Zig marker and ink the rest of the figure. Long straight lines are easier to do when they are horizontal for most people, so turn the paper on its side as needed. I've changed the dress's embellishments to match the border I'm going to show later, so you can do the same thing. Changing the hair and costume design is like playing dress up with paper and paint, and it's a lot of fun. Erte was born Roman Petrovich Tirtov in St. Petersburg, Russia. His father was an admiral in the Russian fleet, and he wanted his son to also join the Navy. However, Romain moved to Paris and pursued a career as a designer. His pseudonym Erte came from the French pronunciation of his initials R and T. Erte was inspired by the unique ink work of the tragic Aubrey Beardsley, and like Alphonse Mucha, Erte was a diverse artist who worked in a plethora of fields, from jewelry and fashion to graphic arts and decor. Okay, I'm finishing up my undersea themed embellishments, anemones and seaweed and bubbles, and I'm excited about the coloring. Apart from the archival Zig black marker, this time I'll be using really inexpensive Pentel sign pen markers, which have an acid-free ink, but they make no claims about light fastness. As you can see, I've cut a page from an adult coloring book that I got from my mom actually, so it will be transformed into a border for my Art Deco piece. I did my actual painting, the figure, on a Fabriano cold-pressed watercolor paper postcard, in case you're wondering. The coloring page border has all sorts of undersea creatures on it, so now you know why I drew similar oceanic embellishments on the dress. When coloring this figure, I'm going to scribble one of the markers on the shiny melamine surface of my drawing board right on the side, and then use a brush wet with water to load up with the marker ink and paint with it. I don't do this often, as I usually have watercolor or gouache paint on a palette, but I've seen many stampers and crafters do this with markers or ink pads. I'm using the goldenrod marker color, dry on dry and also dry on wet, to create nice texture. There's no need to render the folds of the dress realistically. Art Deco was about flattening everything out. When I'm using the green, I'm going to add some of the goldenrod color and the red to it, so it's not such a raw green. I go back with an even more red or green to neutralize the green dress further. The skin consists of a diluted yellow and red mix. And again, it's really simple. Then the red bits of the dress are a muted down goldenrod and red. Keep in mind, because inks are dye-based, they do bleed more. This will create lovely blooms like the ones we made in the Little Witch from Black Cat pieces last time, but this also means the painting will bleed when you don't want it to. So you'll have to be really careful around tight areas like the lips and eyelids, and you might even have to do some patchwork if something ends up and you can't fix it, because ink is also harder to lift. Onto the border. I put my water and brushes aside, and now I'm just going to use the markers themselves. It's a good time to zone out and not be too careful or too neat. The only thing I'm thinking about right now is using all the colors in a balanced way. It's a cool and creative use for this coloring page because it becomes an easy border, and you can use leftover coloring book pages for all sorts of things. You can use them for cards or ornaments or anything else that's decorative that comes to mind, and I'll probably do a separate video sometime talking about creative coloring book use. Once I'm all done coloring the border, I can set it over or under my art. I'm choosing under because I don't want to lose any of the painting edges, and I don't mind if some of the coloring page border is hidden instead. So here's the result, and it's a really fun and striking Art Deco study. It's got a lot of custom touches, and it's really become a unique piece. I hope I've inspired you to break out your markers and maybe do some creative things with an adult coloring book too. Thanks for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe. See you next time, and good luck with all your epic painting adventures.